Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the sacrum of the ox. Here we have the sacrum of the ox and we're going to be discussing its various parts. So looking at the sacrum of the ox, we can notice that it has two surfaces. We have the dorsal surface of the sacrum, the dorsal surface of the sacrum, the ventral surface of the sacrum or the pelvic surface, the base of the sacrum, and the apex of the sacrum. So here you have the apex of the sacrum. Now looking at the dorsal surface of the sacrum, it presents centrally a medial sacral crest which is formed by the fusion of the spinous processes of the sacral vertebrae. So we have the medial sacral crest, and on each side of the medial sacral crest we have the lateral sacral crest, which is formed by the fusion of the articular processes of the sacral vertebrae. So we have the lateral sacral crest formed by the fusion of the articular processes of the sacral vertebrae. And dorsally on the sacrum, you can notice some foramina here. The dorsal sacral foramina, from which the dorsal sacral nerves emerge from. Now let's take a look at the pelvic or the ventral surface of the sacrum. Looking at the ventral surface of the sacrum, you can notice that it is arched. When you look at it laterally, you can notice that the sacrum is arched and it is broad at the base, towards the base. It is broad towards the base and it narrows down towards the apex. Now, looking at the ventral surface of the sacrum, you can notice this groove here. We have the longitudinal groove of the sacrum. It is not quite clear to see here, but we have the longitudinal groove medially on the sacrum on the pelvic surface. You have the longitudinal groove, the transverse lines which indicate the points of fusion of the bodies of the sacral vertebrae, which are 5 in number. The transverse line which indicate the points of fusion of the sacral vertebrae, and at the ends of the transverse line we have the ventral sacral foramina. The ventral sacral foramina, from which the ventral sacral nerves emerge from. So we have the longitudinal groove, the transverse lines, and the ventral sacral foramina. And the ventral sacral foramina are quite bigger. They are more larger than the dorsal sacral foramina. You can see the difference. They are quite bigger. So let's take a look at the base of the sacrum. The base of the sacrum, it presents the body of the first sacral vertebrae, which articulates with the last lumbar vertebrae, and the base of the sacrum projects forward. The margin of the base of the sacrum projects forward to form the promontory. So you can notice this slight groove here, which is the promontory of the sacrum. And dorsally on the body, we have this canal here. This is the sacral vertebral canal. The sacral vertebral canal. And on either side, we have the anterior notches of the sacrum. You can notice these slight indentations here. These slight indentations on the base of the sacrum, the anterior notches of the sacrum. We have the anterior articular processes of the sacrum. Now we have the laminae of the sacrum, which forms the vertebral arch with the pedicles. So the laminae here and the vertebral arch, you can see. So the on the base of the sacrum, you can notice this projection. These are the wings of the sacrum. We have the wings of the sacrum here, and these wings of the sacrum are formed by the fusion of the first and partly second transverse processes of the first and second sacral vertebrae. So these are the wings of the sacrum. They are formed by the fusion of the first and partly second transverse processes of the sacral vertebrae. And caudally on these wings, we can notice these surfaces here. This is the auricular surfaces of the sacrum. The two auricular surfaces of the sacrum which articulate with the ilium, because we know the ilium forms the roof of the pelvic cavity and articulates with the sacrum forms the roof of the vertebra of the pelvic cavity and it articulates with the ilium by the sacroiliac ligament. Now let's take a look at the apex of the sacrum. The apex presents the body of the last sacral vertebrae, which is also known as the centrum. The body of the last sacral vertebrae, which is known as the centrum. The posterior, the posterior medial crest, the posterior post of the medial crest, and we have the posterior notches of the sacrum. These posterior notches of the sacrum here, or the neural ring, and the posterior sacral vertebral canal. So those are the parts of the sacrum. Let's have a quick revision of the various parts. The sacrum forms the roof of the pelvic cavity and is the fused bone. It's a fused bone. It has two surfaces, the dorsal surface and the ventral surface. The ventral and the dorsal surface, two lateral surfaces, the two lateral surfaces of the sacrum, a base of the base, the broad base, and a narrow apex of the sacrum. Now, dorsally on the sacrum, we have the median sacral crest, the median sacral crest of the sacrum, the lateral sacral crest, the dorsal sacral foramina, where the dorsal sacral nerves emerge from, and ventrally we have the longitudinal groove of the sacrum, the longitudinal groove of the sacrum, the transverse lines of the sacrum, which indicates the point of fusion of the bodies of the sacral vertebrae, and the ventral sacral foramina, where the ventral sacral nerves emerge from. Now let's have a look at the base. The base presents a body of the first sacral vertebrae, a body, a promontory, which is a projection of the margin, a cranial projection of the margin of the body, a promontory. The notches, the anterior notches of the sacrum, the articular processes of the sacrum, the wings of the sacrum. We have the wings of the sacrum here, the vertebral canal, the sacral vertebral canal, the laminae, and caudally on the wings we have the auricular surfaces of the sacral vertebrae, the two auricular surfaces for articulation with the ilium. Now, the apex of the sacrum, it has a body or the centrum. We have the projection of the medial crest, the posterior projection of the medial crest, medial sacral crest, sorry, the posterior notches of the sacrum, which form the neural ring, and the posterior vertebral, the sacral vertebral canal. So that is it about the parts of the ilium. I hope you understand very well. If not, please feel free to engage me in the comment section. I'll be ready to clarify things with you, and see you in my next video.